Okay, welcome back. Today I'm at the next appointment earlier, so right now my car is parked. Actually, I've seen some people do Facebook Live when they're driving in Malaysia. I don't think it's legal, so that's why I actually sometimes when I'm driving I have some things I want to share, but I don't dare to do that because I think in Singapore driving and doing Facebook Live together, I think it's quite dangerous. I don't think it is correct. So anyway, as of right now, I'm parked and it's safe. All right, I'm not driving. I reached the destination ahead of time. The previous appointment was earlier, so this time around no cameraman. So maybe you all see my face a bit fatter because closer to me already. Okay, some reflections for this this past week or past can say this past 3 weeks. Okay, what happened in these 3 weeks that caused this? I want to share this video. Main thing is, first thing first, 3 weeks ago I fell and I broke a rib. That one a lot of people know about it already, but I think because of that it actually gave us a bit of a wake-up call. Main thing is that first thing first, we realized that nobody is indispensable or nobody is a Superman. I used to think that I am the very important, so much so that I cannot be absent from any of the customer appointment. I cannot be absent from any of the project management. I used to think that way. Okay, so I was very involved in all sorts of our company's project management. In fact, even if I can't go to a job site, I will have given a lot of instructions to my manager to make sure that everything is handled well. Sometimes to the point that it becomes a big babysitting them. Okay, but because of my absence, resting to recover from the injury, I actually realized that a lot of my team members are very capable. So this is in a way is a blessing in disguise. So this opened up my whole possibility of how this company can grow already. Okay, first thing first, who are we? Right, I'm a third generation carpenter. Reno Scout has been in the market as a full-fledged renovation company for quite a while. Today we just received someone asked us whether we are newly startup. We are not newly startup. I'm a third generation carpenter. If you really want to count the amount of experience in renovation and carpentry that we have, that I personally have, right, I'm 40 plus already. My first time holding a wood saw, touching a piece of carpentry at my own house, building a study table, I was 8 years old. The first piece of laminate that I come into contact was from a brand called Formica. I think the correct pronunciation should be Formica, because they are not a what's it called? They are European brand, so they call it Formica. But in Singapore, most of us will pronounce olden carpenters will all call it Formica, or Formica. In Chinese, the word 美家, the laminate comes from this company, Formica. Okay, so that's the history of my personal growth. Of course, when I first joined the industry, I didn't thought that I will be so popular because we have TikTok. Right now, as I was streaming right now, we are on TikTok, we are on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. We are doing multi-stream live for many years already. In fact, we did our first video in 2019. So there have been viewers that have been following us for the past 3-4 years. In fact, I just had a customer sign up with us and told me they've been following our videos for more than 2 years already. They know exactly how we are. But this also has a bit of some things I reflect upon is that because of all the support from our customers, sometimes when I'm positioning or saying some words about their own home project or renovation, I'm actually very careful because I don't want to hurt the feelings of customers, especially if they have their ideas of how they want to build the house. So most of the time I try to respect and not give too much so-called rejections lah. Like for example, if the homeowner wants to have a galley style kitchen with an island, but obviously their kitchen is too small to make it happen, I may have to give a soft landing to the rejection. Meaning I will not straight away on the spot tell them it's not possible, because sometimes it's very rude, I feel. Because of that, I will go back to drawing stage, and then from drawing we explain to them that if we put the island in, the walkway space will be very tiny. And there's also one more thing to take note. If you realize some of the hardware that you see from the famous hardware companies, they are not very popular in Singapore. They may be branded, but you see very little people using it. There's a reason why some things in Singapore is less used. Because when it's used in Singapore context, it may not be so problem solving. It may not serve the purpose of Singaporeans. I'll give one example. Can I give the example? Let me think. Because sometimes I'm very afraid also, if I say too much, will I get sued? But I don't care. I think I can say, because this is valid. Even if you go to the showroom, you can see. One of the companies I'm talking about right now is a quite famous one. The hardware company, starting with the B one. Okay, they have this system, a tip-on drawer. That means if you touch it, the drawer will bounce out. So usually they, in the showroom also, they put this tip-on drawer at the bottom cabinets. But I also install this for my customer. But when I install, I got to tell them, you have to understand that this mechanism, without the servo drive, it's a tip-on mechanism, it's manual. If you stand too close to the drawer at the kitchen, because kitchen where you're cutting food or you're washing dishes, you will stand close to the counter, right? When you stand close to the counter, what happened? The drawer will bounce out. Without you wanting to open it. And then you can't just push the drawer back. You need to extend the drawer all the way until fully open, then you can push it back, then you'll catch back. If you have installed this kind of drawer system before, you will find that it's a waste of money. So even though we can make more money out of installing this kind of mechanism for you, in fact I can make maybe easily, each drawer I can make another $100 or $200, right? Depending on how high I mark up that mechanism. Depends on how I sell it, right? But to install this, you will regret and you will be angry with your carpenter because your carpenter didn't tell you that this is so difficult to use. So what our company is about is that we are not about trying to sell you the most expensive product and things that you do not need. In fact, most of the time, if you do go to a BTO and then the house is actually quite small, owner will ask me, should I build my platform bed or should I just buy a storage bed? My answer usually will be buy a storage bed off the shelf from the ready-made furniture shops. Is cheaper than custom making a platform bed. But definitely platform can save more space because you can all the way tuck to the wall. So end of the day, it's your needs versus the reality and also the amount of time you're staying in the house. Like for example, if this is a 5-year stay, I would say just buy a storage bed. Cheaper, way cheaper than having us build a custom platform bed. But if this is a case whereby, also one more thing, how old are the children? Or how old is the inhabitants? Why? For example, when I design a house, or rather a room that is for a 5-year-old versus a 15-year-old versus a 25-year-old is going to be different. Why? A 5-year-old room, I try not to have built-in except the wardrobe. And then the wardrobe will not be planned for the 5-year-old. The wardrobe will be planned for an adult. Why? It will grow up one. The wardrobe has to be of an adult size. Unless inside is easily changeable, then I'm fine. Wardrobe only. Don't build the bed. Don't build the study table. Let the homeowner buy off the shelf. Because first thing first, the 5-year-old is going to grow up. He or she is going to change her furniture quite often. From a toddler bed to maybe a bunk bed when there's 2 children. Or even the bed color may change. The very first bed I remember my daughter had was a princess bed. Right? Then after that, the princess bed don't want already. Become a My Little Pony. After My Little Pony, now she don't want already. Then got one point of time changed to, let me think what cartoon. The cartoon keep changing one. Got one point was Princesses one. Then after that was Mickey Mouse. Sorry, Minnie Mouse. Then after Minnie Mouse became, now it's what? Now it's very mature already because she's growing up. Now it's mature already. You give her another 5 years, as she grows, she will need to change furniture again. Things will change. But if you have built custom, you got a big problem already. Very difficult to change. So for children, when you're designing, I would wish to keep the space interchangeable. I'm not out here to build the most carpentry for every customer as possible, even though we're a carpentry company. Why? Because this is the physics of how things works. And because of the truthfulness that we have, sometimes I can tell you my carpentry, instead of being able to full-fledged build a carpentry project, I end up building only the kitchen cabinet and a few wardrobes. Very common for us. Why? Because we are not out there to sell you things that don't work. Then that also leads to a lot of referral. Like for example, never mind, I continue. Okay, if I recall correctly, today got 3 referrals. We are very popular because of the truthfulness, because of the honesty. But end of the day, sometimes it is not something that is good for the growth of the company. But today I want to take a step back, and because of these 3 weeks, of me taking a step back and resting as well because of the injury, I realized that没有人可以替你生病的。没有人可以替你生病。Nobody can fall sick for you. This is the famous last words of Steve Jobs. Right? I actually have his biography sitting in my study area, right? And it reminds me very clearly today that we have been pushing the whole team have been pushing very, very hard. It's not easy, but at the same time, that's how we have grown over the years. That's how we have grown over the years. But we need to have a balance, right? A balance. So now I'm going to train more people. In fact, on Friday, I'm going to have another interview of an apprentice. I'm going to train more people, and I'm going to, once I train finish already, or even they are not yet up there, I'm going to give them the leeway to perform by themselves, and then I will go and check after. Because this is the way to grow rather than having me babysit every single project, every single detail, and making sure that nobody makes a mistake. Mistake is common, but we have to minimize it before it reaches the irreparable stage. So important thing now for us, my reflection, sometimes I'm all over the place. I want to share a bit, but sometimes nobody can fall sick for you. And this is a sad fact of life. Is that the way that we are working, the way that we have been pushing ourselves or pushing the whole team, making sure that we run 8 to 10 projects a month, and then making sure that everything is run smoothly. All 300 details per project is all 100% there. Sometimes it's very tough. Sometimes it's very tough. But we want to make sure that everyone gets what they paid for. Like for example, some of my customers, they have been following us for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, watching our videos. They know exactly how we are. But when they finally see me and finally start running the project, some of them, they feel so-called not happy. Like for example, if I'm too blunt to them, like for example, I straight away reject them. And like, can you at least try to help me tailor-make this so that it can be achieved, what my ideas can be achieved. So instead of giving rejection straight away, sometimes I want to make sure that all my fans, all my supporters, they get a chance to go through the whole process of design, then not feasible, alternative, and then finally the final output, the final design. To be honest with you, recently I try my best not to give too much direct rejection, because direct rejection actually hurts a lot. Like for example, like you say, just now the island, their wish for many years is to have an island in the kitchen, but the reality is the house that they purchase does not allow for it. So what did I do? The best I can do is do a little L shape and then do a peninsula. Then it feels like an island, but it's not galley style. But end of the day, we get part of little bit close to what they want, and then the kitchen has become from closed concept to open concept. So some of the times, design is not something that can be easily quantified. Like for example, I feel that some of the times design and emotions come together. In fact, some of the renovations that we did are emotional renovations. What do we mean? Okay, give you an example. We have a heritage area in Singapore, in Chinatown. These areas they are called conservation shophouses. Conservation shophouses. When you do renovation in these kind of places, the facade or the outlook of the building has to be kept. But some of the times, the back area that is not facing the main road, things can be changed. New additions to the structure can be built. So-called new rooms or new partitions or new part of the building can be changed. And when we change this, some original elements will be lost. Example, the ventilation hole at the backyard where the toilets to remove, and then probably put a window and a KDK fan. That ventilation hole, there's no rules for you that you have to keep it because it's not part of the front facade. The back facade can be changed. Once it's approved by URA, if you hack and throw away this element, the element will be gone forever. That particular ventilation hole, glazed porcelain design, it is not possible to replicate or find it anymore in Singapore. That is totally out of production already. So when we remove this little vent, I actually incorporate this into part of the table leg. Right, I brought it from the back to the front counter. The front counter. When URA officer finally, dropped by when we finished the whole renovation, the renovation took quite a while. Because the conservation shophouses actually have a lot of requirements and a lot of things to take note. Okay, we don't only do just house renovation, we also do commercial renovation. Okay, so when URA officer walked by, they took a look, and they are very surprised that we kept the heritage element and actually highlight it at the main area, the reception table. They were surprised. I told them, design has elements of emotion inside, and sometimes the emotions can be captured by retaining a certain amount of the old elements. If you build all the buildings all straight and flush and no elements of heritage, no elements of design that is kept from the predecessor, I think it is very cold. It is very cold, and sometimes it doesn't speak at all. So some of the times when we are finishing some projects that has history, we like to keep the history element in part of the house. Of course, we also need the homeowners, or rather the owners to give us the free rein and also ability to design a house or design a space based on sometimes our gut feeling. So it's not something that can be easily portrayed. Design, or rather, if you are able to have elements of the past, the present and the future all link up together into one space, it is actually something that is very beautiful. For those that keep thinking that RIS is no, or rather our company is direct contractor, we are very, 死板板做的东西全部都是直直的，没有圆形，没有弧形，不是啊。Our showroom, next time we show you, we're going to have, when we finish the new showroom, it's going to have a lot of curve, a lot of design elements. Not much so-called heritage can be found in the new showroom in terms of keeping elements from the old factory. I don't think so there will be much but 我老实跟你讲啊，我们是有感觉的，我们是有感性的，所以设计需要这种元素。And the people who are actually involved in the design, they have to like their job. They have to like their job. They have to like what they are doing. And then if they don't, it's very sad. It's very sad. Because if you treat it, like for example, recently I interviewed some project managers, also called interior designers. Sometimes I'm a bit thrown off because they are thinking of only their so-called themselves, which is the salary, the job scope and stuff. They have no passion. They have no passion. And the sad part of life is that you want to find someone who is passionate, someone who love what they do, and at the same time able to put their emotions and what's that called, wholeheartedness into a renovation project of either a residential or commercial. If you really can find, you'll be very, very blessed. But most of the time you don't have. Most of the time you don't have. How to test, or rather how during an interview you can find out how to tell you. 这是真的是凭感觉的，凭感觉。At the same time, those that are, remember got one photo. I remember got one photo that threw me off guard one. It was a photo of me standing on a pile of so-called rubbish. That means after hacking, there's a whole stack of debris. And then one of my managers took a photo of my back view, or a little bit side and back view of me looking up into the roof. This house is a very special house. The roof is very high. Standing on a pile of rubble, looking out into the roof, planning the roof build, planning the so-called attic build. Because the attic very high, can have another attic layer, planning the attic build. And at that time of my career, I was very, very tired. It was a few years back, and then I was on the verge of like saying, you know, throw in the towel and say, wow, very stressed, very hard, shouldn't have joined this line. That photo that captured the essence of I'm enjoying my work. That photo made me think twice. Think twice on what? 我到底喜欢我什么东西？我到底喜欢这个工作什么？我真的喜欢热爱我的工作吗？然后 the answer that came back to me was from that photo and from all the things that I've been doing is 真的 right? I belong in this industry. I belong as the lead carpenter. I belong as the lead designer, and I really love my job. But the end of the day, it is not something that everyone should pursue, especially if you don't like. I give you an example. If I were to tell my children or ask my children, do you want to join as the 4th generation? You want to join as the 4th generation? If they say no, I'm not going to force it. I'm not going to force it because at the end of the day, I believe everyone have their forte. Everyone have their forte. Everyone会有自己的春天的，每个人都有自己的春天。我从来没有想过我自己进到这个 industry 会这么出名，会这么多人喜欢我们，然后导致现在我们的工程师这么多人，从来没想过，真的从来没想过。So 为什么会这样？因为将心比心，我们所做的一切 the things that we do for homeowners is already above and beyond what other contractors do. The drawings, like for example, some of my drawings they bring out to their families and friends or the suppliers, like lighting supplier. They are very surprised, no? They look at our drawings and wow, your ID is so detailed. I'll draw until like that for you. Oh. So, end of the day, we are not easy to find this kind of people who are really love what they do and willing to put in the effort. So with that, basically what we learn from this, what I learned from this is that our team is actually very passionate and very strong. But at the end of the day, we need to give them a chance to lead and learn. So with that, I'll be promoting some of my seniors, right? And then they'll be leading the team. They'll be leading the team. I will be trying my best to not step in. So some of the customers, when you all go to the job site, you may not see my presence that much, but at the moment for the meetings I will still be there. And then next time, as we progress to the next stage whereby my protege and my apprentices can be taking over the meetings, I will sit in for the meetings at the important junctures, but most of the communication I want to let all my apprentices get chance, or even sometimes you call them apprentice, but you must understand some of the designers that have been in the industry for 5-6 years, I still call them apprentice, because 只要他们没有到我们之上，我们都要教他们。So end of the day, I hope the team can grow strong, with or without my actual presence at the job site, because I cannot be everywhere. That's what we found out. But the good thing is that there's video and there's WhatsApp. So end of the day, if they need my presence and I'm not on the job site, this has been happening many job sites like that. That means we do video call and then my eyes are there already. So this is the benefit of technology. So anyway, I have to go already because I just now said early, but now 30 minutes already. I need to go for my appointment. Okay, So with that, if you like what you see, who are we? We are Renault Scout. I'm a third generation carpenter. The reflections for this week, it may actually before I started the video, I wanted to 讲更感性的东西吧。我怕我讲，等下 you know, end of the day, tears come down and stuff like that. I don't want. So, end of the day, 刚刚我想要开 video 讲的这些东西啊，跟真实讲完了过后，有点不搭，有点不对。反正是没有 script 的，这是真心的话。Okay, so if you want to engage with us, you want us to become your renovation contractor, you want us to become your interior designer, or you want us to be your number is 9007-3368. 9007-3368. WhatsApp to us, and then after that, my admin will handle your case, and from there we ask you floor plan when you're getting the house key, and invite you to the sales event to meet us. Then if you do decide engage with us, let us know. So that's the only way to see me, because if not, then the amount of referrals and inquiries, we won't be able to meet everyone one-on-one, or go to your house or this one. Okay, got to come down to the sales event to meet us. WhatsApp number to ISVP for a slot is 9007-3368. Don't call, WhatsApp in, because the phone number is directly to me, and then my meeting is non-stop one. 9007-3368, our WhatsApp number. Alright,